This place is really misnamed. Actually, it's totally spectacular. It was named by this guy, George Vancouver, who was a melancholy guy to start with during a really wet May back in 1792. But actually, it's got a much drier and sunnier climate than much of the BC coast. Plus, generally, the saltwater in most of Puget Sound and almost all of British Columbia is considered too cold to swim in. But what happens here is the tides split here. They go both north and south. What it means is that the water goes up and down, but it doesn't travel very far. So it just gets warmer and warmer. And some of the bays and harbors are partially surrounded by these steep east and south-facing rocky bluffs and cliffs, which get heated by the afternoon sun and radiated back for hours and hours. We were here in June of 2004, and it was so warm that we could go up to the flying bridge of our boat in the early evening to have our gin and tonics in the shade. Only when the sun went over the mountain did it get cool enough to cook. The mountains here are dramatically steeper than those to the south. Early Vancouver Island residents had hoped that a railroad track could be constructed along the shore here, island hopping over to Vancouver Island, with the last bridge being across Seymour Narrows with a support pillar on Ripple Rock. But the steepness of the mountains right here, which essentially drop right into the saltwater without a beach in many places, dash those dreams. Today, the mainland road along the shore stops at Lund, about 15 miles south. And along the British Columbia coast from there north, travel is either by boat or float plane. This whole area is particularly popular with kayakers. Some folks drive to Lund and launch their kayaks with all their camping supplies packed carefully aboard, while others take advantage of boats that essentially act as motherships for the kayakers, providing a place to stay and eat while traveling to a different kayaking destination each day. A great way to see Desolation Sound is to charter a trawler-style powerboat like we did from Comox on Vancouver Island. So instead of a long 2 or 3 day trip up from Puget Sound, Desolation Sound is an easy day trip from Comox. In the early 1970s, several old remote farms in this area became counterculture homesteads for Americans seeking a quieter lifestyle away from the worry of getting drafted into the Vietnam War. I was exploring this area with my girlfriend in a small sailboat in the summer of 1971 and anchored in remote Galley Bay. Among the old apple trees rising up from the shore were what appeared to be yurts and geodesic domes. We were sitting enjoying a glass of wine when there was a commotion in the water off our stern, and here was this exquisite young woman swimming nude and wondering if we could spare any cigarettes.